Welcome back to Dano Does Things. This week, the needle felting sagas continue with a flat felted bookmark. I've been needle felting both in 2D and 3D for a little while now, and there are two things that I know for certain. 1. Needle felting takes a long time. And 2. Your project is going to look really weird during the middle until you're almost done. I like to give people an idea of how long it actually took me to complete a project versus how much time you see on the video. This bookmark took me a solid hour to finish, but at 18 times speed, it's all packed up into just under 4.5 minutes. One of the reasons needle felting takes me so much time is that I'm trying to be careful. Felting needles are very sharp, and in my first few projects I may have gone a little too fast and jabbed myself in the finger once or twice. Let me tell you, it definitely hurts. Only for a moment, but still. When crafting, I'm a strong believer that you shouldn't be hurting yourself at all. Don't even let the notorious hot glue gun trick you into believing burnt fingers is just part of the job. Needle felting can also take a fair amount of time because it can be done in the shape and style you want, but it takes some extra time in felting to remove the fuzziness from your project. But just go slow, take breaks, and felt at your own pace. Now, while I really enjoy the finished project, while I was doing this text, I started getting some weird serial killer dripping blood font vibes. This is my first time attempting text on a needle felting project, and I haven't quite mastered keeping each letter uniform. But I kept on, and the flowers that I add later definitely help make the whole piece. You can see that I also made myself a paper guide for the spacing of the letters. Letter spacing is not my specialty. I always end up spacing out the first few letters way too far apart, and then have to squish in the last ones. That's why I always write out cards and titles in my bullet journal with pencil first, before going over with pen or ink. And why I made this special spacing guide. No point in not giving yourself all the advantages you can. When felting the wording, I had more luck using shorter pieces of wool so I could control them and pull them taut more easily. When I used too much wool was when the letters would really take on that blobby quality. If you do find yourself with wool that is too long for your letters and you need to trim it, try not to make a straight across cut. If you sort of feather the end of your wool, you'll be able to felt it down more easily. As I start to felt the flowers, you'll again see an example of how a project may look a little off until you complete it. Needle felting is about layering. In this instance, I'm starting by felting the stems, then I'll felt the yellow center of the flowers, and then finally the flower itself. Take the time to visualize what you want first so you can work your picture from back to front. You can always add little touches afterwards, but it's harder to change the larger pattern. I like to trim off the excess from around my felting surface and then give the entire piece one last overall poke to make sure all the fibers are nice and tight. And there you have it, a bookmark that is a little bit better than the receipts I usually use. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.